It's a radar indicated tornado. So if you're in this area, go ahead and take your tornado precautions right now. Lowest level, center part of a room, and get yourself in a place where you could not be hurt by flying debris. Like, you want to stay away from windows, interior section of the house or the home you're in. Of course, your storm shelter underground, or even above storm shelter is the place to go. But if you don't have any of that, lowest level, center part of a small interior room, take cover until the storm moves on by. That's a tornado warning, basically right over and north of Highway 33, west of Guthrie, Cedarville area, to the south of Crescent. There's a circulation right there, south of Crescent. There's a circulation. It's very small right now. This is not a large tornado or anything like that, but little circulation here, possible along the leading edge, along that gust front, okay, coming right into the Guthrie area. So that is officially a tornado warning for the Guthrie area. We're watching that very closely. Aaron Sanders, not too far from there. He's up in the North Metro area, I do believe, and Piedmont looking off to the north. He's looking for some lightning, so we have our trackers out there. We're watching the situation very closely for you. All right, back over to radar, and we'll show you all these storms in the northwest and the metro area. There they are coming right in. 60, 70 mile per hour winds possible with this area of storms coming into the northwest metro. That will be straight line winds, heavy rain, maybe a little hail. I think these storms are gradually weakening as they come into Oklahoma City. We have that one possible tornado just northwest of Guthrie, another possible tornado up here to the north of Tulsa. This is the storm that prompted a tornado warning to the south and east of Ponca City a little while ago. We were tracking that live on the air. That went close to Fairfax and Scheidler, north of Pawnee here. Now it is traveling through Osage County, just to the north and east of Hominy right now, up towards and north of Skiatook. Here's Tulsa right here. So if you have family and friends up there, North Tulsa, give them a heads up, tornado warning there. As we take it back closer to home here, you can see the hail cores, not too impressive. There's one hail core up here in eastern Pawnee County, could be quarter-size hail. Otherwise, we're kind of dime nickel hail here with the line of storms coming in the northwest side of the metro area. Again, here they are coming right on in. Here's Oklahoma City right here. There's that tornado warning now west of Guthrie, including Guthrie here in Logan County. So this is a tornado warning. You can see the little spin up trying right there, right there. That's a tornado warning from the National Weather Service. At this point, we don't have any confirmation of any tornado on the ground. Meteorologist Tim, hey.
Good morning.
Keep an eye on that situation there and let me know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, reading the, right now, actually, just as you said that, the National Weather Service said potential tornado in between Crescent and Cedar Valley. Just saying the same thing that you've been saying, though, on air, the pronounced circulation right on radar right there.
Yeah, it's a pretty good little circulation, Tim. We're looking at very closely. And as we go on closer in here, you can see the little circulation area just west of Guthrie right now, just south of Crescent, moving off to the east rather quickly at about 40 miles per hour. So we're watching it closely. We're watching the National Weather Service, what they're saying behind the scenes and looking at the radar and all that. So there's the circulation right there. There's no tornado on the ground that we know of at this point. It's a radar indicated tornadic circulation. You can see it right here moving east at about 40 miles per hour. There's Crescent, there's Cedar Valley, there's Guthrie, there's I-35, there's Langston. Okay, so we're talking about coming out of Kingfisher County into Logan County here. It looks like it's right along and north basically of Highway 33. I think the circulation can stay north of downtown Guthrie the way it looks right now. We'll watch it moving due east right now. That's that little curlicue right there. There's some circulation right in there, some very strong winds out of the west on the south side of the circulation. It's kind of bowling up and wrapping up right here. So there could be a small tornado developing right here, moving just to the north of Guthrie right now. So that's why we have that tornado warning going. We're following the situation very closely for you, and I think we're just going to keep it here until this tornado warning subsides, okay?
Yeah, the tornado warning is going until at least 4:30. That's, given that nothing else happens with it and that it does expire. But the entire line also has that severe thunderstorm warning you were talking about. Really prolific lightning maker as well. We've got total strikes right now. If you guys want to pull up Links 1, you can pull that one up over real quick. And we'll be able to see, everyone at home can see that I have the radar pulled up on Links 1, and then you can see the lightning counts as well. Almost 1,600 lightning strikes with this. Yeah, that's a lot with this entire line of storms stretching all the way, the main area all the way up from Perry down towards Guthrie, where we have that tornado warning, and then all the way down towards El Reno. So even if you're south of that tornado warning that's moving into Guthrie, south of that into Edmond, the Village, Yukon, El Reno, those strong winds are going to be moving into your region as well. Very gusty winds there. We've been getting reports from the mesoscale of 40 to 60 plus mile per hour wind gusts down there. So that's still enough to do some minor damage to, trees, limbs, maybe in some small structures out in the yard. But yeah, latest on anything more on that one?
Yeah, Tim, we're watching it very closely for you. You can see this big complex coming out of Kansas and northern Oklahoma. We've been tracking it all morning long. We've had a couple of circulations develop along the leading edge. There was one that formed to the southeast of Ponca City earlier. That is now northwest of the Tulsa area. And there's another little circulation that has formed just to the west-northwest of Guthrie. We're zooming on in. By the way, down here to the southwest, these are still some pretty strong winds coming into the northwest sides of the metro area. Not tornadic, but straight line winds up to about 60 miles per hour along the leading edge of this bow coming out of Kingfisher County into Canadian County right now. So El Reno to the west of Edmond and to the west-southwest of Guthrie. So we're not talking about the tornadic circulation. That's going just north of Guthrie. But you're going to get some wind down here as well into the metro area, potentially some severe winds up to about 60, maybe 70 miles per hour, and a little hail as the storms come on in. But what we're really tracking and what we're really concerned about is this little circulation area going just to the north of Guthrie. There's the circulation right there. That's the tornado warning we have ongoing right now. No confirmation of a tornado on the ground at this point. Tim's monitoring the National Weather Service and all the spotters out there. We're watching this area right here. A little bit of a spin here. You can see the line kind of kinks out, okay, like that. So we're getting stronger winds in the area where it's coming out like that, all right? And so you have stronger winds out of the west here, not as strong to the north, and you get a little circulation. If you put a paddle wheel there, it would kind of spin around, right? Because you have the stronger winds here and not as much wind up here. So that's what's going on. It's a little surge of wind, and it's kind of spinning up along the leading edge of that storm complex. So that's a tornado warning right into the Guthrie area along Highway 33, basically, and just to the north of Highway 33 is our tornado warning right now. We're watching it very, very closely. I think it's through the Crescent area right now, so it's just off to your southeast. It's basically over Cedar Valley and coming towards Guthrie, just north of Guthrie along I-35. So if you know anyone living in this area, you might want to give them a phone call, give them a heads up that there's this tornadic circulation coming in this area. A lot of folks are asleep right now, so just give them a heads up so they can take cover. So if you're in the path of this possible tornado, you need to be taking cover. Your tornado precautions, lowest levels, center part of a small interior room, put blankets on you, and protect your head from flying debris. Most people are injured by tornadoes by the debris that a tornado might pick up. So that's the little circulation we're watching near Guthrie. But again, all the way down this line, we have severe thunderstorm warnings for 60, 70 mile per hour winds. And not much hail with this coming into the metro area, and brief heavy rain could cause some localized flooding. And then once you get up into the Tulsa area, we've been following severe weather as well. In fact, there's another circulation that has formed to the south of the first one. So we've got two tornado warnings ongoing right now in northeastern Oklahoma, north of Tulsa. So if you know anyone in the Tulsa area, North Tulsa, up into southern Washington County, far eastern, southeastern Osage County here in the Tulsa area. We've got two tornado warnings going on here. Same kind of thing, little spin-ups along the leading edge here coming in to North Tulsa. That is definitely causing a problem, especially at night. As far as the hail cores, there isn't huge hail with these storms. We're saying less than quarter size with these storms coming into the northwest metro right now. The biggest hail is with these storms in eastern Pawnee County, up in Osage County with the tornado warnings up there in northeastern Oklahoma. But we have our own tornado warning right here just to the northwest of the Guthrie area right now. Go ahead, Tim.
So they said Stillwater, Cam is in the top of that shot right there, Guthrie at the bottom, and Aaron's in the middle. And I also wanted to say, we have that main area that you're watching on radar that you pointed out. That we have that tornado warning. Are you guys able to pull up links two on air?
Links two, guys.
Or links one? Links one, excuse me,
Maybe
sorry.
it's links one.
Okay, well, with his radar, I can still point it out. We have an area down the south right here So we have our main tornado warning, that's this one right here, pretty much taking a beeline right into Guthrie. And then of course the main structure of the storm that is continuing to move east, really damaging winds with that. But there's another area, John, to the south, if you can pause the radar and leave it on now. In between Piedmont and Yukon, there was a little area as the outflow boundaries keep moving down from the storm, the wind's pushing out away from the storm. We were seeing small little spin ups in between there too. So National Weather Service, that's not warned or anything right now, but it's just something that they're keeping an eye on. A little rotation right there as that moves into the northern part of the OKC area. But again, there's our main tornado warning. It has passed Crescent and Cashin, so you guys are good. Moving into Guthrie, again, beelining right into Guthrie. No observed tornado. Radar indicated with that, but make sure you're still taking this seriously. You're still getting in your safe spot, most interior room, away from windows, of course, and then keep an area as the areas outside of this as well. Keep an eye on it as well, Kearney, down towards Chandler, over towards Perkins. This line is moving into your area as well. So Guthrie, that main area of circulation, moving into you right now. And still looking at, just zooming in on that little storm alone on my other computer over here, roughly in just that storm, the entire system is a prolific lightning maker, but this one storm moving into Guthrie is producing about 500 to 600 lightning strikes too. So very dangerous lightning on top of the tornado threat and wind threat.
All right, thank you very much, Tim. Yeah, we're all over it. You can see the circulation on the Doppler velocities pretty well right now. Right there, it's right along Highway 33. I think it's going to move just north of downtown Guthrie, but it's a close call right here. So this is coming on in. We do have that Guthrie camera we could probably pull up. Is that it right there, I believe? Yeah. Why don't we take that full so we can get an idea of what's going on in Guthrie right now as the circulation is coming right into Guthrie and about a mile or two north of Guthrie along Highway 33. This is a tornado warning if you're just joining us. We have a circulation coming right towards the Guthrie area right now. There's downtown Guthrie, Oklahoma Ave here. We're looking off to the east. The storm is coming in from the west-northwest, so we're not looking really at the right direction right now. Don't even see any lightning, but it's just over here to your left. And this will be coming in here very shortly. So we'll keep an eye on this live shot in the Guthrie area. Let's go back to radar again. We do have a circulation here. This is why we have a tornado warning. And we're getting little spin-ups along the leading edge of this cluster of severe storms coming on in. So we see that a lot, especially late night, early morning hours, these little spin-ups along the leading edge, right? Leading edge tornado spin-ups. We cover them a lot, especially late night, early morning hours here in central Oklahoma. And that's what we have right now. So it's a little bit of a spin here. You know, my days storm chasing, I spent years and years storm chasing back in the 80s, and we would get these all the time. They never warned on them for tornadoes because they just didn't do it. They didn't really know what was going on. We just called it little gustnados back in the 1980s. We'd go home after storm chasing and we'd say, oh, you know, we saw a little something, a little swirl. You know, really what it was. Now they happen and they issue tornado warnings. Everyone gets really excited, but there it is. There's a little swirl right there. It's coming right into Guthrie right now. It looks like it may be taking a little bit of a southward jog on its movement here at this point. So you see the circulation right here. It's not extremely tight, but still there could be a small tornado, not out of the question in this type of situation, this time of morning. Got the low-level jet strengthening as that big complex comes in. So we see this a lot, these little small tornadoes along the leading edge. So if you're in the Guthrie area, again, heads up, tornado warning. And that's going to go from Guthrie off to the east there. So along Highway 33, basically over into the north and then to the south of Highway 33. Let me zoom out a little bit here for you. So you can see that's Guthrie right there, eventually heading into Lincoln County. So there's the circulation I'm pointing out right there. It's moving almost due east right now. There's Highway 33. Goes right into northwestern sections of Lincoln County. So that's the circulation we're watching there. We do have other tornadic circulations up in northeastern Oklahoma we're watching as well. But I'm going to go in and check out some of these winds on the south side here that are coming into the metro areas. Tim was pointing out some of this stuff. Again, you get these little circulations, these little eddies on the leading edge. And there's another one that looks like, maybe northeast of Yukon. If I zoom in real quick, you'll see a little bit of something there. So look, another one to the southwest of Yukon. See that one there. So that's pretty typical of these situations, late night, early morning hours. There's a lot of shear. There's something we call the low-level jet that increases late night, early morning hours. So that's increasing the inflow ahead of the leading edge of these big storm complexes. So look at that little spin there. There's the one just northeast of Yukon. Now they're not warning on these because they're not big enough, but don't be surprised if we have some other tornado warnings that are issued here as we go through the next few moments as this comes on into the metro area. But the big one is up there, again, just about over the Guthrie area. So there's the big view right now, just to give you a heads up what's happening. We're watching some storms down in southwestern Oklahoma, and there's that big complex coming out of Kansas into northern Oklahoma overnight through the early morning hours. We zoom on in. There is the line coming in. Again, little circulations along the leading edge, even down here in the metro possible. They're not warning on those at this time. The only warning is right around Guthrie, and then we have several tornado warnings up in northeastern Oklahoma. So there's the spin right there. You can clearly see that right there, right? There's the spin. That's the tornado warning, and that's going across I-35, all right, and then into rural sections of eastern sections of Logan County, eventually into northwestern Lincoln County. That's your polygon, that's your tornado warning. If you live in that tornado warning, that polygon, go ahead and take your tornado precautions, all right? Lowest level, center part of a small interior room, protect yourself from possible flying debris, stay away from windows and things like that. If you have a storm shelter, obviously, underground or even above storm shelter, that's the place to go. And if you got some friends in this area, give them a heads up, because a lot of people are sleeping right now and not really aware of what's going on. So, close in look at the Doppler velocities. And Tim, if you want to jump in at any time, go right ahead.
Yeah, I was just wanting to check the mesonet. With the large spread of mesonet sites across the state, you can really get a good idea of what the winds are actually, happening out there at the surface. So right now, I'm mainly seeing about 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts moving into the metro. One of our producers just said on her ring camera, very, very gusty, windy conditions off of Northwest and Council, which lines up with that system moving right into the northwestern portion of the state, or excuse me, the metro area. So from Guthrie, where that tornado warning is, down across up the northwestern point of the Kilpatrick Turnpike, and then down into the El Reno, Yukon area. Moving into Yukon right now, absolutely torrential rain. So even if you're not in this tornado warning in particular, there are some very, very gusty winds moving out there. And again, as we've been talking about for days and weeks now, the ground is absolutely saturated. So this could potentially lead to a flooding threat as well once the system moves through, and we have still the rain on the back end side of it, and then the rain the next couple of days. So.
Okay, Tim. Hey, let's go over to Aaron Sanders, storm tracker Aaron Sanders. He's in this area that Tim was just talking about. The leading edge here, we're looking south of the tornado warning, and Aaron's there. Can he talk right now? Aaron, where are you? What exactly are you seeing out there right now? Is this gust front, the leading edge of the storm, is coming right towards you right now?
Yeah, John, I'm on Northwest Expressway in Rockwell at the moment. I'm just kind of getting a little bit more distance up in front of the leading line of the storm so I can kind of look back and actually have a view into the storm. Right now, I haven't seen anything too concerning. There has been some heavy rain here and there, but I've kind of stayed on the leading edge of the storm. Haven't got into it too much. Haven't come across any hail too much, but the wind is definitely blowing. I'm seeing some gusts probably around 45, 50 miles an hour is probably the top we've seen so far. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get some distance up ahead of the storm, and we'll turn around and get a shot for y'all. And back to you, John.
Okay. Thank you very much, Aaron. Yeah, we're watching this gust front coming on in to the metro area, so you're in a good position there. It'll be coming right in rapidly to the northwest sides of Oklahoma City right now. It's the leading edge, so some winds, 50, 60 miles per hour, maybe a few higher gusts locally. A little bit of hail, not much hail with this right now, and heavy rain coming on in. And we're getting these little circulations along the leading edge. So the severe thunderstorm warning that was issued just for the Oklahoma City area recently actually has a possible tornado tag on it. It's not a tornado warning, but it is an indication is they're seeing these little spin-ups that we were showing you on radar, and they're worried that if one of them spins up, it could become a tornado warning. So just a heads up, this storm coming in is pretty powerful. It's got some strong straight line winds and little spin-ups along the leading edge, which could become tornado warnings if they get a little stronger. Right now, that's mainly around the Guthrie area. Let's go back to radar. We're going to keep an eye on Aaron's stream for you, and he's following this leading edge coming into the West Metro right now. So any little swirl here, and they could issue a tornado warning. That's not happening yet, but that's always a possibility. As we zoom back out, there's the one with the tornado warning over and just to the east of Guthrie. That's moving rapidly off to the east. Several tornado warnings up there in northeastern Oklahoma as well. So this is a big complex of storms that, we've been talking about this for several days. Started up there in Kansas and actually southeast Colorado, and then just came on down, and here it is coming down into Oklahoma right now. It's got some good straight line winds, maybe up to about 60 miles per hour, but again, the story is right now we're getting little leading edge swirls. Let's go back over to the Guthrie cam right now and check it out real quick. And Tim, if you want to jump in, just go ahead at any time. You don't have to do it right now. But let's go over to Guthrie cam. Remember, we just showed this and it was all quiet. Well, that storm has moved on in. So the heavy rain and the wind is moving in Guthrie right now. You are under a tornado warning at this point. I think the circulation is just off to your east and north at this point. I don't think you're having a tornado, but you're under a tornado warning. You can see the camera is kind of blowing around a little bit right now. Lots of lightning, so they're getting a severe thunderstorm in the Guthrie area right now with a tornado warning. So go ahead and take your tornado precautions. Guthrie to the east along Highway 33, eventually on into Lincoln County. That is a tornado warning. Again, these little leading edge spin-ups along the line. This is one of the bigger ones around the Guthrie area. There's a couple up on the north side of Tulsa right now, and even down into Oklahoma County, as that is coming into the central sections of the metro right now, we're getting little spin-ups on radar. That's why they've tagged this severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible, and that just means they're watching some elements within the storm that could lead to perhaps a tornado warning. Not seeing that quite yet, but it happens so fast. These little spin-ups, they happen like that. They spin up in a minute or two and then dissipate, so they're kind of hard to follow. But that's downtown Guthrie right there. Let's go back to radar.
You want to pull the Mustang camera up and see what we're getting out there?
Sure.
They said they're changing the Stillwater over to Mustang as the storm moves in. I don't know if there's anything of significance on that one right now. Are you guys seeing anything large on there? You can see that there's just lightning, really prolific lightning out there. Yeah. I will say the one good thing about the radar when it comes to the tornado warning that is now east of Guthrie, moving towards Meridian, Shiloh, and Frost, those areas, the velocity scans don't look nearly as rounded and they didn't even look very tight to begin with, as John was saying earlier, but they've elongated a little bit. So maybe just looking like a more damaging wind threat here as that circulation slows down a little bit. But that's the tornado warning. Right now you're looking at a live shot of Mustang, though, as that system moves in. That line of strong storms, severe storms is moving in. Again, really gusty winds with this as well. We're seeing wind gusts on the surface between 40 to 60 miles per hour. So very windy conditions, lots and lots and lots of lightning. On my computer right now, when I pan out and I look at the system as a whole, at this moment looking at 1,671 lightning strikes. So very prolific lightning maker, wind maker, very torrential rains with this as well. I can pull up the Mesonet real quick and give you guys a general idea of the rain that we're seeing as we move through the last about hour or so. So this thing is, this line is dropping over an inch to even sometimes up to 3 inches of rain as it moves through. That is a lot of rain in a very short period of time, because the storm system is also moving to the east at 50 miles per hour. This is not, slowly trekking along here. This thing is hustling across the state. So moving into the northwestern portion and western portions right now, Yukon getting absolutely dumped on at the moment. You can see up towards Edmond, main areas moving in, Villages, Bethany, you're right on the fringe, so the front of the storm is moving into your region. So if you're watching right now from anywhere in the northern or northwestern or western part of the metro area, probably waking up to some really loud thunder and cracking lightning right now as this main area of the severe storm pushes into your region.
All right, Tim, thanks for that report. Going back over to the velocities here. There's the circulation now just passing east of Guthrie. Tornado warning. Doesn't look like it's on the ground, but that's a tornado warning. A little spin up, trying to spin up along the leading edge. But we're getting little swirls down into the metro, in Oklahoma County as well along that leading edge. Let's go back over to Storm Tracker Aaron Sanders for an update. Aaron, I know you're following that little surge, that gust front or the leading edge of the storms coming through the metro area. Where are you right now? And give me a live report if you could.
Yeah, John, so I'm heading eastbound on Northwest Expressway, just crossing Villa at the moment. I'm starting to get picked up by a little bit more of the rain as the storm's kind of picked up its speed heading to the east over the last couple minutes. So right now, the visibility is really not too diminished, but like I said, I'm starting to get into some of the heavier rain. I'm starting to get some heavier winds where I'm at, probably about in the 45, 50, 55 mile an hour range estimated speeds. So yeah, right now I'm going to keep heading east and get a little bit more ground on the storm, and then get a shot for y'all of the line coming in. Back to you.
Okay, thank you very much for that report. We're watching the radar very closely in Oklahoma County for these little swirls that, kind of develop very rapidly and then kind of dissipate. Not strong enough for any tornadoes here in Oklahoma County at this point, but we have that one warning east of Guthrie. Let's go back over to radar. What was that, Tim?
Another warning for that same storm. It does include the far northeastern portion of Oklahoma County, and it extends all the way out towards Chandler.
Okay, that's a tornado warning, right?
Tornado warning,
okay.
Yeah.
So they've extended that tornado warning on that Guthrie storm to the east and southeast. We'll take a look at that here in a jiffy. We're watching it come on through, and there's the new tornado warning. You can see it's a little bit to the south and east of the earlier tornado warning, so it does clip parts of far northeastern Oklahoma County into Lincoln County. So that's that same storm that has a little bit of a spin up there on the leading edge. We're watching that closely. Severe thunderstorm warnings for the rest of the metro area. The tornado warnings up there around the Tulsa area have been discontinued or have expired. And in the blue, that's a severe thunderstorm watch from Oklahoma City to the east-northeast going through 8 a.m. Notice they're trimming away the potential for severe weather off to the northwest. So obviously the storm has already come through northwestern Oklahoma, so your threat for severe weather is pretty much over there for the time being. Also, flooding is a huge concern. We have flash flood warnings up in northeastern Oklahoma. We have a lot of flood advisories from northern Oklahoma, flash flood watches down in the metro area. But we've had so much rain recently, so as these complexes of storms move on through, it doesn't take much to get some runoff and have some pretty significant flooding issues. So, are we getting power flashes? Is Aaron Sanders? Do we need to go back to Aaron? Let's go back to Aaron Sanders right now for an update live here in Oklahoma County following this severe storm. Aaron, have you seen any power flashes or anything like that?
Yeah, no, John, I haven't come across any power flashes as we made our way east at the moment. No, back to you.
Okay, thanks for that. He hasn't seen any. I think maybe we've seen a couple on some of the cameras, so we got to watch that situation. Let's go back over to Max 2 at this point. Again, there's the complex coming out of Kansas into northern and central Oklahoma. Also, I don't want to forget about you folks in southwestern Oklahoma getting some pretty heavy showers and storms, but not severe there. All the severe action right here in central Oklahoma right now with the severe thunderstorm warnings. We have tornado warnings as well. Let's zoom on in and take a closer look. That one circulation east of Guthrie now. They issued that new tornado warning all the way through Lincoln County. So you folks in Chandler are now under a tornado warning. These are severe thunderstorm warnings down through Oklahoma County. We'll zoom on in. I'm going to rearrange my camera shot here, my radar view. These storms are moving really fast off to the east, so we have to keep switching our camera views to see them, but
yeah, they're hustling, John.
Yeah.
They're moving at 50 miles
Yeah,
an hour.
they're moving.
So not one of those slow mover systems that we saw, just a couple of days ago where they were only moving about 20 to 30 miles per hour. These things hustling across the metro at about 50 miles an hour, which is also could help induce stronger winds out ahead of it, the gust front.
Yep. So there's the new tornado warning going all the way through Lincoln County right now. So there's Guthrie. The circulation is well past Guthrie right now. You're in the clear. This is moving out of Logan County and basically rapidly into northwestern Lincoln County and might clip far northeastern Oklahoma County. You're in the polygon here, the tornado warning, to about the Chandler area and points off to the east. So that's the circulation right now. We're watching it very closely. Still, potentially, it could produce a small tornado. That's why the National Weather Service has a tornado warning going. So if you live in this polygon here, from east, southeast of Guthrie, all the way through and to the east of Chandler, you're in the threat for a possible tornado along the leading edge of this storm complex as it moves on in. Doesn't look like a very tight circulation right now. Kind of a broader circulation here. Definitely some damaging winds, possible here. Could be a small tornado developing here. We're watching it very closely, but if you're in the polygon, don't take anything for granted. You want to take those tornado precautions right now. Get to your tornado safe spot. You know where that is. If you have a storm shelter, that's the place you want to be. At night, you can't see anything, so you don't really have to be looking out the window or anything like that. You're not going to see anything, maybe some power flashes, but there's just a lot of lightning out there. It's hard to tell the difference. But this is coming on in, so lowest level, center part of a small interior room. Protect yourself with maybe blankets or a pillow over your head. Stay away from windows. Most people that are injured by tornadoes are injured by the flying debris, the stuff that tornadoes pick up. I mean, if a tornado touches down and you've got some debris in the air, it could be a large tree branch, a structure that was hit, and it's flying in the air at 100 miles an hour. That's the danger with these tornadoes. So you really want to protect yourself and your loved ones from that situation. And you could call someone up if you have any friends up here and wake them up, let them know there's a tornado warning. Again, the tornado warning basically from east of Guthrie now through the Chandler area, moving east-southeast rapidly at about 50 miles per hour. We're also watching the circulation features down here in Oklahoma County very closely. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for Oklahoma County right now, winds to 60 miles per hour, very heavy rain, so some localized flooding. And again, we have these little circulation areas, even in Oklahoma County, that we have to keep a close eye on. But right now, it doesn't look like these are doing anything right now. I don't see anything that looks suspicious right now.
Just some stuff to note here. This Guthrie mesonet just picked up a 77 mile per hour wind gust.
Well, that's a lot.
56 mile per hour at the Yukon mesonet. So these winds are, earlier as they were moving in, only producing at the mesonet sites about 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Now we're seeing close to 80 mile per hour wind gusts.
Yeah.
And then the only good news is south of Arcadia, the line orientation is less favorable for tornadoes, so that's the good news, but you're still looking at those potentially destructive winds moving into the metro.
Right, and you can clearly see where the strong winds are by looking at our Doppler velocities here. And it's not really wrapped up for a tornado at this point, but it's as strong as a small tornado, 80 miles an hour wind. But here's the strong wind right there. This, where it goes from green to white to blue right here, that's about an 80 mile per hour wind on the Doppler velocity. So the strongest winds are on the back side, not as much on the front side. So it's kind of it's not an even circulation, it's sort of doing one of these, but it's enough to spin up a possible small tornado. We have a tornado warning issued. It could be a small tornado developing at any time. If not, you've got winds to 80 miles per hour on the back side of this thing. That's going to do a lot of damage as well. Power outages, trees down, maybe even some shingles off the roofs, some things like that. So we're going to watch that situation. We're watching it. There's the tornado warning. That's the circulation right there. Very strong winds, 80 miles per hour reported, close to 80 miles per hour, 77 from the mesonet site. Was that the mesonet site in Guthrie?
Yes, the mesonet site.
Okay. Mesonet site in Guthrie, 80 mile per hour wind, 77 to be exact. But you can see where the strongest winds are. Where that goes to blue right there, that's the 80 mile per hour wind. And so it's sort of on the back side of the circulation, and that could help it kind of spin up here. So that's what we're watching. Tornado warning now east of Guthrie, and it's going to move north of Wellston, just north of Wellston, towards Kearney and Chandler areas here in Lincoln County. You're under a tornado warning, so go ahead and head to your safe spot. Storm shelter, above ground, underground, it's a place to be. If you don't have that, you know where your tornado safe spot is. Lowest level, center part of a small interior room, like a closet underneath the stairwell. That's always a good place, right? You have that closet underneath the stairwell. That's a good protected area, or a bathroom possibly, and then maybe just protect yourself when you get in there. If you got some kids, put a bicycle helmet on them or something like that. It's fun for them, and that'll definitely protect from any head injuries if you were to happen to get a tornado hit or something like that. So anyway, there's the tornado warning. It's crossing right now. It's right over the county line here. So you're going from Logan County right into Lincoln County, far northeastern Oklahoma County right there. So you can see what's going on. There's Guthrie, all right? Arcadia, Luther. It's just northeast of Luther, right to about the Kearney area is the area of concern for a possible tornado. No reports of tornadoes on the ground right now, but that's your tornado warning heading into Lincoln County. We have a severe storm here in Oklahoma City. Winds to 60 miles per hour. Could be some stronger winds potentially, but right now we're looking at the line in Oklahoma County. I just don't see anything suspicious right now. We have Aaron Sanders out there, and I wonder if we can go back live to Aaron, and then we'll go back over to Tim. But I wanted to check in with Aaron real quickly. Aaron, I'm looking at the radar if you're out there listening to me right now, and I just don't see a whole lot of suspicious stuff along the leading edge here in Oklahoma County. I think, that circulation up east of Guthrie is really the main factor, and that's kind of blowing out the winds on the southwest side. So, you have the low where the possible tornado is, and then down the line across Oklahoma County, it's less favorable right now for tornadoes along the leading edge. But give me a quick update. Pretty wet roads out there. Any flooding, localized flooding going on?
No, John, I haven't come across any localized flooding as we've made our way through the metro. I will say the winds that have steadily picked up over the last couple minutes I will say we probably reached some estimated gusts, probably around the 65, if not a little bit higher range. Kind of been pulling us around the road a little bit as we've been going down the highway. The rain it's heavy rain. It's nothing too crazy, nothing too torrential. I'm still on the front edge of the storm though, so I still have some heavier rain to get into. I'm coming across a little bit of light hail. But I'm still looking for anything suspicious. Haven't come across anything as we're out here. Now we're out here tracking it. Back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Aaron. Let's go over to Tim. He's got some info. Tim,
Yeah,
kind of
we're going to pull up.
Storm coming through right now.
Yeah, massive here. So right here is our 50 pin shot. You can see right off to the left there is that Walmart right next to Penn Square Mall and the Northwest Expressway. You can't even see the skyscraper that's right in front of us. You can only see the green light that's right at the top of it. So very blinding torrential rain right now. Really gusty winds, as John was saying earlier. We've had 77 mile per hour wind gusts. We've had 56 mile per hour wind gusts reported this on the Mesonet sites. That was in Guthrie and Yukon. So this again, moving across the region. Are you guys able to pull up Lynx 1 now? Are we able to pull that radar up? Perfect, look at that. So here's the metro area. So we just saw at Penn Square where that was moving through. So moving out now, I want to show you this. This is just zoomed in on this one little piece here. You can see total strikes 215. This line is stretching across a good portion of the state. So there are thousands of lightning strikes, lots and lots of lightning associated with this. But we're getting pounded right now here at the KFOR studios. John, if you want to poke your head outside while I'm doing this, there's some really torrential rain. The Village, it's moved through. Bethany, Yukon, you're on the back side of this. So the rain will slowly start to taper down. The severe threat for Yukon is going to be diminishing too as this line passes. Now, Midway, down towards Midway Village, Midwest City, Flynn, right through the middle of the OKC Metro is where that main line is pushing through right now. Again, some potentially very destructive winds with this. Now I'm going to pull it back up to the north here where we do have our tornado warning for Guthrie. Let me try to get rid of this right here. So there's that little spin right off the top of Wellston now, it looks like. So we'll switch over to velocity here. And as John's been saying, it's not the best velocity scan here. You can kind of see slightly where we're monitoring that rotation. So green is those winds toward the radar, and then red is away. So you have that little bit of rotation right in this area. Very broad right now. That's why don't necessarily think there's a tornado on the ground with this right now, just some upper level rotation in the atmosphere. So pulling away from that, I'll actually pull up the shear as well. And that could give us a little bit of a better idea. You can see here, again, very broad rotation. You can see that broad area right there. So Wellston, you're down toward Warwick, down towards up towards MC, Dudley, Kearney. You should all be in your safe spot. Just in case, again, don't necessarily think there might not be a tornado on the ground right now, but its rotation's very broad. But you want to be in your safe spot nonetheless. Chandler, again, this is moving due east right now. Davenport, Sparks, and Kendrick also inside that tornado warning. Pull back out so you can get a better picture here of the entire system on our radar. Again, very large line extending down towards Fort Cobb, the last little end of it there, and then up towards Tulsa. You can see Owasso down there, a whole bunch of severe thunderstorms. And then we have almost 2,000 lightning strikes. You can see total strikes, 1,839. So extremely prolific lightning maker there. But there's that tornado warning. Again, that cleared Guthrie already. So right now, Chandler, Wellston, Kearney, you guys are right in the middle of that, heading out towards Davenport. So make sure you are taking your precautions. Most interior room is going to be the safest place you can be. And then again, down towards Jones, Luther, you guys getting in on some of that really, really heavy rain. Looks like that main leading edge has moved through the OKC Metro now. Again, moving towards the Flynn area, down towards Midway Village, Dell City. And as we head further down, more in Norman area is going to be getting on some of that rain too in a little while as that continues to move off to the east. But Mustang, Tuttle, Wheatland, Minco, Union City also seeing some of that heavy rain. Again, Banner, Richland, El Reno, Piedmont, the heaviest has moved out of your region. You can see that big red line right there. So right now moving through the metro, and then we'll pull it back over to that tornado warning there. We'll see if there's any better rotation on the latest scan here. You can see it's still pretty spread out here. So Wellston, Warwick essentially sitting in that rotation area, sitting right on top of this area up towards MC. So anywhere in that general area right there, make sure you're taking your precautions just in case, when we have that rotation, tornadoes can touch down at any time. John?
Okay, Tim, thanks for that report. Yeah, with a lot of strong winds with this storm coming in. You can clearly see a circulation there. And then down the line here through Oklahoma County, the circulations are a lot weaker as this thunderstorm complex kind of pushes down in the southeast. Aaron Sanders is out on the east side now around Midwest City. Aaron, if you're there and you can hear me, give me a quick update. You're following this down to the southeast. Severe thunderstorm warnings where you are right now. 60, 70 mile per hour winds are possible. We're watching that little tornado situation up there east of Guthrie moving into Lincoln County. But give me a report here around Midwest City. What's your location exactly and what are you seeing?
Yeah, John, I'm still ahead of the leading line right now, going eastbound on I-40 through Midwest City at the moment. The rain is it's kind of just stayed steady over the last couple minutes, not really too heavy, but it is definitely raining pretty substantially. So the roads aren't really too slick where I'm at, but I'm still ahead of the line, so I'm probably going to stop here in a second and let the line catch up to me a little bit so I can cover it coming through the metro. But yeah, right now I'm really not coming across anything too substantial, but we'll be out here tracking it. Back to you.
Thanks for that report. Let's go over to one of our cameras here in the metro area. We're seeing this storm coming through. It's quite this thunderstorm moving on through. We can take the 50 pen camera right now as the storm's coming right through the heart of Oklahoma City. Winds to about 60 miles per hour. We're getting frequent lightning, heavy rainfall coming down. There's a live view right now. There's the crosstown. Folks are traveling there, but it's pouring down rain, gusty winds. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Oklahoma City, and that's what it looks like outside right now. So if you have somewhere to travel, you might want to just hold off until the storm moves on by. Pretty big storm. Look at all that lightning. Boy, oh boy. So frequent lightning, winds potentially as high as about 60 miles per hour right as it first comes through along the leading edge. That's when you get the strongest winds. And then behind that, you get just heavy rain, gusty winds, lots of lightning. There's not much hail, just a little hail with this storm coming in. The biggest threat is along the leading edge of these little spin-ups, and we're seeing that to the northeast, but not in Oklahoma County right now. So let's go back over to Max 2 here and give you another radar update. Severe thunderstorm warnings here in Oklahoma City, tornado warning, that one tornado warning in Lincoln County, severe thunderstorm warnings around Tulsa. Otherwise, a watch goes through 8 a.m. We're kind of clearing the watch to the northwest as this big cluster pushes off to the southeast. And flooding is also a huge concern. We've had so much rain lately, that historic month of April with the heavy rainfall and then a lot of rain in May, and now here we are in June. It's still coming down. So officially from the Metro North, it's a flash flood watch all the way into tomorrow afternoon. We have another complex that could impact the area tonight, tomorrow morning. So lots of water, can't handle anymore. We got flood warnings, flash flood warnings up here in northeastern Oklahoma, and a bunch of flood advisories all through northern Oklahoma. So if you are traveling, keep that in mind. Very wet. Flooding is always difficult to maneuver around, especially at night. So there's that big complex coming out of Kansas into northern Oklahoma. Thunderstorms also approaching the Altus area in southwestern Oklahoma. We're watching those. Let's get a close look here in central Oklahoma. This is the leading edge of this big storm complex from basically northern sections of Grady County right through the Oklahoma City metro area to Lincoln County up into Tulsa. The leading edge is always where you have the most severe weather. The strong straight line winds 60, 70 miles per hour on average. And occasionally we get these little tornado spin-ups, and the one we're following right now is moving into Lincoln County. But right here in the metro, we have severe thunderstorm warnings with that line coming on through. Tornado warnings a little to the north and east. There's the circulation. You can see it passed over Guthrie to the east of Guthrie. It's moving east-southeast right towards Chandler right now. That's the circulation. So Luther, you're in the clear. It did clip far northeastern Oklahoma County, the warning, but you're in the clear, obviously. There's the circulation southeast of Kearney right now, moving right towards the Chandler area. So you're getting the worst of it in the Chandler area. When this comes through, we had a 77 mile per hour wind gust up around Guthrie when that was moving on through. So, 70, 80 mile per hour winds are possible in this tornado polygon. Otherwise, you're more like 60 mile per hour winds, all right? But right where this circulation is on the backside, could be winds to 80 miles per hour. However, I do want to say, I'm going to zoom in here a little bit, that it looks like the winds are weakening a little bit on the backside. Let me zoom on in. Again, we're watching for this little circulation. There it is. You see it? See how the winds are kind of coming down? We had that blue and white right in there. That was the 80 mile per hour winds, and it looks like they're a little weaker right now by looking at the latest scan from Doppler radar. So the Doppler radar, we go in and look at the radar, and it looks at the hail and the raindrops, and it can tell you which way the wind is blowing in respect to where the radar is, okay? So That's a west wind right there. It's an east wind on the front side. So that's your circulation right here. But notice the winds on the back side that were up around 80 miles per hour, okay, earlier, are now a little bit weaker, so less chance it's probably spinning up. But we continue with the tornado warning. Right over the Chandler area right now is where that circulation is, and it's moving rapidly to the east-southeast at about 50 miles per hour. So damaging winds, some hail, very heavy rain, localized flooding, lots of lightning with the storm coming through Chandler right now and Lincoln County. That is your tornado warning. You can see here the reflectivity. Look at that. That right there. That's it. See how that spins up right there? That's the circulation right there.
Reno at the moment in Midwest City.
Go ahead, Aaron. Was that Aaron? Aaron, what's your location right now? Give me a quick update. All right.
John, we're heading down Reno at the moment through Midwest City. We kind of let the line catch up to us a little bit more. We're definitely getting some localized flooding now. The water is starting to pond up on the roads. We're getting some torrential downpours. I'm starting to get some heavier wind gusts, definitely up above the 65 and some possibly the 70-mile-an-hour range. So I haven't come across any hail just yet as we've gone through the storm, but we'll be out here tracking it. Back to you.
All right, continue to follow that, Aaron. Looks like you're getting some pretty good wind, very heavy rain, not much hail where you are. Let's go back to radar. We can kind of pinpoint where that circulation is up there in Lincoln County. Over to max 2, we can see the spin. There it is right there. So right there, it's kind of wrapped in right there. That's the tornado warning just southeast of Kearney and just north of Chandler, coming right in to Chandler. The strongest winds are really from that circulation to the south, wrapping around. I don't think they're 80 miles per hour looking at the Doppler radar. They're more like about 70 miles per hour right now. But strong damaging winds, some hail, and flash flooding rains. Lots of lightning coming right into the Chandler area. That's the tornado warning. If you're in this polygon, Chandler, Stroud, Sparks, go ahead and take your tornado precautions right now. Lowest level, center part of a small interior room, like a interior closet, under the stairwell, or a bathroom. And stay away from windows for sure, because flying debris can get you. That's the thing about tornadoes. They pick up stuff, it blows around, that's what we call the debris, and that can be dangerous. They're flying projectiles that can really injure a lot of people and do a lot of damage. So there it is, coming right through Lincoln County. That's a tornado warning for Lincoln County. In Oklahoma County, Aaron Sanders, he just had that live report. He's following it. He's right here where that wind shift is occurring and where the strong winds are occurring and the heavy rain and a little bit of hail. Not much hail at all, just a lot of lightning, heavy rain, gusty winds. Now in the southeast metro. So there's Blanchard. It's coming right through Moore right now. Choctaw, 60-mile-per-hour winds, heavy rain. It's a severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning at this point. We've been looking for little circulation areas along the leading edge. Don't see any really suspicious areas down here in Oklahoma County and Cleveland County and out in McLean County right now. It's all up there in Lincoln County. So we're just going to continue to watch it. And the hail is biggest up in northeastern Oklahoma. With this line coming through the metro area, the hail is not that big. It's nickel and dimes right now, probably below quarter-size hail. Might get an isolated quarter-size hail report, but basically it's wind and rain coming through the metro area, and that causes localized flooding as well. So there's the line. Notice it kind of cuts off down here in Caddo County, so back to the southwest, not as bad. It's kind of moving off to the east-southeast here. Once this moves on through, the weather will improve later on this morning and as we go through the afternoon, but more storms could fire up later this evening, and then tonight, tomorrow morning, another big complex is forecast to form up in Kansas, or really form right on us and come right on through the area. So we're going to have more weather for about another 24 hours before it dries out here on Sunday afternoon. So here's the latest. We're watching this big storm complex coming through central, northeastern Oklahoma, all right? Live shots out here. We got Aaron Sanders right now following that across the southeast metro. He's got a lot of rain, a lot of wind, a little bit of hail. But it's not like a huge deal in Oklahoma City at this point in terms of high-end severe weather. That's mainly to our northeast so far. You can see our camera shots here. They're improving behind it a little bit as that line is moving away. So very interesting stuff. So storms this morning, some clearing this afternoon, about 84, warm, muggy, winds go light and variable. But Tim, you know, more storms are possible later today. Really, the evening hours could be isolated to severe, and then maybe another big storm complex tonight into early Saturday morning. So we've got to watch that for flooding and more severe weather down the road. So that's the latest right now. From here, Tim, Can you add anything here? What's the National Weather Service saying about that circulation right now?
Yeah, so reading up a bit, they said there's a circulation over Newcastle, not weak enough to produce a tornado warning, but now they're saying tightening up a little bit, so they're going to issue another tornado warning for that as well.
Where was that, did you say?
If I'm reading correctly, that will be over near Newcastle.
Over Newcastle. That's further down in the south.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's pan out here and see. I see the circulation they're talking about.
Let's zoom on in.
If we, let's see, pull it up on,
Yep.
I have links one, if you guys want to pull that, or if he's pulled it up already. Can you see, it's not very clean there. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'll do storm relative too. Now the area, let me see if it shows better on, so on shear you can kind of see it right here. This little area of rotation that they're watching right there, now to the south of the Newcastle area. So let's pull up the storm relative velocity. Now the storm relative velocity takes into account the actual storm's motion. So before we were talking about red, winds away from the radar, green are the winds toward the radar. But you can see really just a very small area right there of circulation. Not even, yeah, very, very, very tiny, small circulation. So I'll pull up that radar and you can kind of see, you can see it on there, honestly on radar even a little bit better. And John, you were saying this on Tuesday that sometimes velocity isn't the best way to go. Velocity will show you that spin a lot of time, but here on radar is where they're watching that potential area. They said potentially a tornado warning coming for this, so going to keep watching that. And that's just to the south of the Newcastle area. Ironically enough, kind of close to where we had the tornado on Tuesday. If this continues moving due east, this is right where we had that tornado on Tuesday, just before it went into the Norman area. It lifted, so some potentially very heavy rain, some destructive winds there. Moving into the region, there they go, yeah. Yeah, that tornado warning has been issued, so yeah, let's show you that one right here. They just issued this tornado warning for that area of circulation right there. Again, radar indicated. So this includes Norman, Goldsby down towards Cole, Washington, Slaughterville down towards Lexington, continuing to move off. This thing is hustling too. We've been saying this all morning. This system isn't moving slow. It's not moving 25, 30 miles per hour. This thing is hustling about 50 miles per hour as it continues to move off to the east and southeast here. So if you're in any of these areas from Norman, especially Norman, Goldsby, you need to be getting into your safe spot. Again, this is radar indicated at this time. Our little area of circulation right here is going to continue to move through. So if you're any further down, you got a couple of minutes to gather your things, your important documents or whatever, and head into your tornado safe spots. Again, remember the most interior room of your house, away from windows. And if you have a storm shelter, obviously that's going to be the best place for you to go. When we zoom back out, let's jump back up to the north tornado warning. Again, we have those two tornado warnings right now. So we have the one up towards Chandler that is moving right here. That's continuing to move off to the east. Both of these, I will say, both radar indicated. And then in the middle, you have the mess that's moving out of the metro right now. So in the metro area, Edmond back towards the Village, Yukon, El Reno. Main area has already moved through for you. Now you're just seeing some heavy rain, but the gusty winds and the really torrential rain and the really prolific lightning is continuing to move off to the east here. So Choctaw, more getting in on that right now. McLeod moving into your region soon, but there's that first tornado warning, again, moving off to the east. And then our second tornado warning that just came out, the south part of the metro area, so that includes Norman, heading down towards Slaughterville and Lexington as it continues to move. Again, radar indicated. So let's pull up that velocity for you, and we'll be able to see that scans here. So we'll start down with the new one that we just had here, down towards Newcastle. Again, these aren't the easiest to see here. You can see on storm relative even, very, very, very small potential area of circulation right here. So Newcastle looks like you're in the clear as this is now southeast of you. But Norman, the OU campus, down towards Goldsby, this is the area that needs to be in their safe spots right now as you are in a tornado warning. That area of circulation just off to your west. So this will be moving quickly off to the east here. McGuire is going to be the next area that you need to be jumping into your safe spot as well. Regular velocity, showing that area just a little bit better. Again, if you weren't here a moment ago, velocity and storm relative velocity. Storm relative just takes in the entire storm system's storm motion into account here. So you can see that little area of rotation right there that they're watching. Again, if you're in Newcastle, it looks like it's to the southeast of you now, continuing to move east, ironically enough, right where we had that tornado warning the other day, where we had that confirmed tornado touchdown, just to the west of Norman and the OU campus. So right here, Norman, OU campus, down towards Goldsby. Again, moving off to the east, make sure you are in your safe spot at this time. I'll pull up the radar so you can get one more look at that before I toss things back over to John and get you a big picture here. So there's that one. You can see that little hook that I was talking about. That's the area of circulation. Again, past Newcastle now. So Goldsby, Norman, areas between, you should all be ready to go in your safe spot as that continues to move off the east. And then we have the other tornado warning up towards Chandler and all the severe thunderstorm warnings in between.
Okay, Tim, thanks for that report. Let's go ahead and take a look at Max 2. We're going to show you what it looked like as it was coming through the Oklahoma City metro area. You'll see the leading edge. Here it is. See it right there? Move on through. Strong winds, heavy rain, lightning, and thunder. Moving through the metro area, localized flooding, and we do have a couple of tornado warnings in effect right now. Severe thunderstorm watches, Oklahoma City north and east. Many counties under severe thunderstorm warnings around the Tulsa area and back into Oklahoma City. And we have 2 tornado warnings in our area right now we're going to take a closer look at. And flash flooding is always a major concern, especially at night. We have flash flood warnings up here in northeastern Oklahoma, a bunch of flood advisories for northern Oklahoma, and a brand new flood advisory has just been issued for Oklahoma City. So we have severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, and flash flood advisories going for the Oklahoma City metro area right now. Big cluster of storms coming in from the northwest. We've been talking about this for days, so that was predicted pretty well. Big storms also in southwestern Oklahoma, not severe right now, but we're watching down there in Jackson County as well. So here in central Oklahoma, big cluster of storms. It's along the leading edge that we have these tornado warnings, the little spin-ups along the leading edge. We'll zoom on in. The latest one is down here on the south side of the metro area. See it right there? That's a brand new tornado warning from about Blanchard down to about Purcell, okay? That is the tornado warning. Norman's included in that. Little spin-ups going on right along the leading edge right there. We'll zoom on in for a closer look at the Doppler velocities. You can see it, but it's already kind of weakening. You see it right there? That's what they issued on right there. And it's moving very rapidly to the east-southeast at about 50 miles per hour. But you can kind of see the circulation right there. You see it? That's the tornado possible on radar, okay? It's not confirmed on the ground. Possible tornado on radar, but it looks like it's already kind of weakened a little bit. But we continue with the tornado warning right now. If it would be on the ground, it'd be close to Goldsby and Noble, all right? Southwest side of Norman is what we're looking at, basically. So McLean County, Cleveland County line here, pushing off to the east-south at about 15 miles per hour. There's the circulation. It was definitely a little tighter up around Newcastle when they issued the warning, and now it looks like it's relaxed a little bit, but we continue with that tornado warning. The other one to the northeast, this is in Lincoln County. This is the one that came through Guthrie earlier with a 77-mile-per-hour wind gust in Guthrie at the Mesonet site. Doesn't look quite that strong right now, but we continue with a tornado warning from really to the southeast of Chandler. The circulation is basically over Sparks right now in Lincoln County. It's moving rapidly off to the east-southeast at about 50 miles per hour. So rural areas of eastern, southeastern Lincoln County under that tornado warning from Sparks off to the east-southeast. So we have 2 tornado warnings ongoing. Here's how it looks like on the regular reflectivity mode up here in Lincoln County. You can see the circulation right there. See it? Spinning around. And it's really between Chandler and Sparks, moving east-southeast at about 50 miles per hour. So eventually, southern, southwestern Creek County, northwestern Fusky County will be under the gun with this tornado warning as it moves on in. So the one down to the south is weakening a little bit, and the one in the north not quite as strong as it was. So we have 2 tornado warnings ongoing along the leading edge. As soon as this line passes your area, you're pretty much done with the severe weather. Okay, once this big front edge of the complex moves by your location, your home, you get the strong winds, the heavy rain for about 5 or 10 minutes, maybe a little hail, lightning and thunder. Once that goes by, your threat of a tornado is really over because all these little spin-ups are occurring right along the leading edge, And behind it, you're just going to get some rain for a while, and then it'll kind of clear out a little bit later on. There's not much hail with this. The hail has been pretty low overall. Nickel, dime, couple quarters here and there. Bigger hailstones up with those storms in northeastern Oklahoma than we're seeing here in central Oklahoma. But we're getting a lot of heavy rain with a flood advisory has been issued now for the Oklahoma City area. So a flood advisory, tornado warnings on the south and east sides right now. And that's all moving south and east of Oklahoma City. So as we go through time here again, when that kind of front edge moves through your location, things start to improve pretty quickly. So let's go back out live and continue to follow this over to the east-southeast. Aaron Sanders has been watching the front edge of the leading edge of this complex all morning long. Aaron, are you there right now? Give me an update, and it looks like it's raining pretty hard. What's the latest?
Yeah, John, we're making our way south out of Midwest City right now. We're just to the southeast of Tinker at the moment on Douglas. Right now, the rain has picked up tremendously over the last couple minutes, so I could probably see maybe about 100 yards in front of my truck at the moment. The wind is definitely probably hanging around the 45, 50-mile-an-hour range. The winds are definitely very heavy right now. It's pulling us around the road. I've kind of been caught up in a little bit of traffic here that's kind of had to slow down because of the weather at the moment. These roads are definitely very slick. There's been a lot of flooding where we've been going through. So if you got to get out this morning, I'd definitely take it slow, take it easy. If not, I would just prefer to stay home. The roads are definitely not ideal at the moment. So yeah, we're out here tracking it. Back to you, John.
Okay, Aaron, thanks for that report. Yeah, it looks kind of stormy out in your location. So again, right along the front edge, that's where Aaron is. He's been following it, and that's where all the nasty stuff is with these big complexes, is right along the front edge. So we have that warm, moist air, and then the colder, rain-cooled air coming in, and that kind of ignites and intensifies the thunderstorm, and it kind of propagates to the south and east. But that's what's going on right now. Right, there's a radar loop of that storm up there in Lincoln County. Tornado warning continues up in Lincoln County to the east of Chandler now, heading towards Sparks and just east-northeast of Sparks. This is Lincoln County into southwestern Creek County, northwestern Okfuskee County. Down here we have northern sections of Pottawatomie County and Seminole County. So you get the idea. The circulation is up here in east-central, southeastern Lincoln County, and it's moving rapidly east-southeast at about 50 miles per hour. And then the one on the south side, the circulation we continue to follow, is basically now not too far north and west of Noble. All right, there's Norman, and you see a little bit of a spin there on the reflectivities, just southwest of Norman, just northwest of Noble, rapidly moving off to the east-southeast. And again, not a whole lot of hail with these storms right now, not much hail at all. It's really the heavy rain and the little tornado threat along the leading edge and the strong, damaging straight-line winds that is the big deal. And again, the heavy rain and lightning and all that. So here's the deal. The front edge is pretty bad. These storms, I think, will weaken as we go through time and push off to the east. And believe it or not, we're not over with it yet. Later today, another slight risk of severe weather. Storms could form to the west-southwest and move in this evening from west-central, southwestern Oklahoma into central Oklahoma. So we have another risk of severe weather. Large hail damaging winds, the main threat. That would be later on this evening and tonight with a low tornado threat. And then another big storm complex is likely going to form up to our north and move right in as well with more heavy rain and severe weather. So we're not done with this event yet. You know, severe weather season is just rolling along and rolling along. There is some hope, though. Things will improve as we take you towards next week. So our time lapse showing the front edge coming through. Again, with these big storm complexes, right along the leading edge is where you get the bad stuff, okay? You can see that coming right here as that is rapidly moving off to the east-southeast. One of our time lapses catching. See how quickly it is? Boom, it goes about 50 miles per hour. So that's the deal right now. The front edge of these storms. Severe thunderstorm watches continue from Oklahoma City to the east-northeast. We have severe thunderstorm warnings now the east and southeast side of the metro area, also up in Tulsa. And we have two tornado warnings right now. One up there in Lincoln County to the east and southeast of Chandler, and the other one just to the south and southwest of Norman, heading towards the Noble area. If you're in those polygons, go ahead and take cover. Flash flood warnings in northeastern Oklahoma, flood advisories in northern Oklahoma, flood advisories here in central Oklahoma as well. So if you're getting out and about, definitely watch for ponding of water on those roadways. And here's a radar replay of that big storm complex coming in the last several hours. We'll give you another update on the tornado circulations. One down here just south of Norman, and the other one is up here just east of Chandler. We had a couple tornado warnings up here in northeastern Oklahoma. I think they're having more circulations up there and might be issuing something, but that's kind of at our area right now. But really, anywhere along the leading edge, the front edge of these big thunderstorm complexes as you get that little spin up. And there's the one right there just south of Norman right now, and there's one just off to the east of the Chandler area. We'll zoom on in, and it looks like this circulation is pretty weak right now. Tim, I don't know if you've been looking at that. I've been following it. Is the National Weather Service saying anything about the circulation? Because it looks like on radar, it's definitely not as well organized as far as tornadoes go. Still some damaging winds, but it looks like that circulation is definitely weaker now as it's heading towards the Goldsby area. Are they saying anything?
Yeah, no, I agree. It looks pretty weak. The only thing they said was about 6 minutes ago, though, that there was an updraft pulse in that couplet, but it's continuing to be a weak couplet at the time, though. The entire line, though, if you guys want to jump over to links 1, perfect. Beautiful line there. You can see a strong storm system right here. Now moving out of the OKC area, so if you're on the backside of that line in the OKC metro, up towards Edmond, the Village, out towards Yukon, El Reno, Mustang, the severe threat is over for you. Just looking at that system move away now, probably lots of prolific lightning out there. You can see right behind my head almost 1,800 lightning strikes. So deadly lightning, really. And then we have, again, that tornado warning just off to the south here. You can see that right there in the Norman area, continuing to move off to the southeast and the east. So Slaughterville regions going to be in that region right there. And then as we continue to move off to the north, we'll move this up here. You can see we had that other one that was up towards Chandler. Did they get rid of that one, John? Looks like it looks possible that that tornado warning did expire. Oh no, there it is right there.
Yeah,
I couldn't see it from all the red. There it is right there. There's that right there.
Till 5:15.
Okay, that one's still in effect for 15 more minutes. Yep. That's if they don't extend it there. So we'll see if we can bring up velocities. Perfect. So you can see that right there. Chandler right there. Just to the east of Chandler now. So this is actually moving closer to the end of that tornado warning area. You can see just off to the east of Chandler, now moving off to the east. Now, again, these things moving very quickly, right around 50 miles per hour.
What they're saying, Tim, is that, as we were talking about, the outflow is becoming more dominant along the leading edge, and it's blowing out the circulation. So they're going to let both tornado warnings expire. The Lincoln County one and the Cleveland County tornado warnings will be expiring at 5:15. Which is another, just a few minutes away, like 7-8 minutes away, or less.
Yeah, there's that line again on loop here from John. This is on max 3. You can see it moving over the cone of silence right there. That's the top of the radar, so no data comes in from directly over the top of the radar. And these colors are a little bit confusing, I know, but these are the severe thunderstorm warnings. So down towards Choctaw, those regions down to the south, down towards Prague, Shawnee, Tecumseh, out towards Moore, Norman, just severe thunderstorm warning now. This tornado warning for Slaughterville, Lexington. Again, radar indicated, but you still should make sure that you're in your safe spot, ready to go, storm shelter. I know it's early in the morning, but these really gusty winds moving through. So changes back to radar for you and see if we can get that pulled up. There we go. So there's that main line. Again, the gust front out ahead of this. Very gusty winds too. We've had reports of 77 miles per hour, 56 miles per hour. So some really gusty winds. Lots of reports of ponding on the roadways already down towards Norman and more. You can see lots of heavy rain, prolific lightning makers. Again, 1,700, almost 1,800 lightning strikes in just the past several minutes here. So lots of lightning moving back up towards the north. This system is very large too. You can see up towards Chandler, Cushing, out towards Bristow. Still lots and lots of heavy rain out there. What was that? Mark Dillard. Where do we have Mark Dillard at? He is in Oklahoma City, so can we talk to Mark Dillard? All right, let's see what Mark Dillard's got going on. He is out in Oklahoma City. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Tim. Just downtown here. I'm going to check out an area at 23rd and Broadway. Police had the exit ramp from the South Broadway extension or basically a Centennial Expressway, I-235 area. They had that blocked, so I'm thinking there's flooding in that area. I just came through on 10th near Broadway downtown, and there's water collecting near the railroad tracks. So there's areas of flooding going on here in the metro area. I just want to make sure people are aware as they get out trying to get to work and start the day that we probably have some pretty good flooding going on here in the Oklahoma City metro area. As I was driving in, there were pockets, especially along the leading edge there, with all the heavy rain coming down, that it was ponding and it was hydroplane conditions for sure. So just take it easy as you're starting to get out and about. I'll be on scene of this flooding issue here near 23rd and Broadway, I believe, here in just a second. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Mark, for that report. Yeah, flooding definitely going to be an issue after the system moves through. We were saying a little while ago, looking at the Mesonet gives you a nice spread of data out there. As a storm has moved through the northern portion of the state, we were seeing anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rain, so very, very heavy rainfall rates within this as it continues to move off to the east and southeast here. Now, when you look at 50 pin, though, on the Lodge Cam, we pull that full, you'll see nice clearing on the back side of this, so it's actually moving very quickly, 50 miles per hour out there. The storm system's moving at 50 miles per hour, so we're seeing that clearing on the backside right there. So there's 50 pin. You can see just a couple of low-level wispy clouds, but you can see the lightning off in the distance still, some light rain still across the region, but if you're in the OKC metro, things are calming down nicely. We'll jump back over to radar now and zoom back over to the latest here. You can see that we had that one warning up to the front, or up to the north, excuse me. Now down to the south of Norman is where we want to take a look at. So zoom in here. All right, so just to where Goldsby is, let's see if I can get the velocity pulled up here. Yeah, so these circulations aren't even super tight. They're super pronounced really. They're very, very broad circulations, and you can see the velocity and storm relative velocity. Again, storm relative taking in the entire motion of the system as a whole. Sometimes the shear will give you a good picture as well of what we got going on. So you can see right here, we have some shear right here. Winds. Shear is just winds changing with speed and height. So you can see that right there. So I would say the main circulation is past Goldsby and Washington, probably moving towards the Slaughterville, Lexington area. So again, radar indicated. There's been no reports of an actual tornado on the ground, but just take your precautions if you do live out in front of this. Make sure you are in your safe space just in case. And while we have this pulled up, we'll actually take it on up to the north because we do have that other tornado warning. You can see that one way up here. Now moving well off to the east here. So more horizontal in nature, really. This one's kind of spread out a little bit. Let's see if we can pull up anything on the storm relative velocity. And you can see that main area, again, right near the Arlington area as this continues to move through. So I would say Chandler down towards Sparks area. This has moved past your region now. We'll pull up the main velocity. Yeah, so really broad area right now. So Arlington, you should still remain in your safe space. Again, radar indicated this time. There's been no actual confirmed tornado, but you do just want to, better safe than sorry here. We'll zoom back out and you can kind of see the picture as a whole. This entire system as it moves across the state. Started up in the southwestern portions of Kansas, dropped across the state. And again, we've had some pretty high gusts out of this. We had Guthrie had a 77 mile per hour gust. Yukon measured a, was it 56? 56 mile per hour wind gust, I believe it was. Yeah. Moved through the area. And again, the main severe threat has passed the OKC metro. So if you're in the OKC metro, the good news is this is passing you right now.
Okay, Tim. Thanks for that. Now at 5:15, which is right now, these tornado warnings should be expiring. So the National Weather Service is saying that the outflow is kind of surging out of this complex and it's kind of overtaking and kind of blowing out both those tornadic circulations. So they're going to let the tornado warnings expire at 5:15. And I think that's exactly what happened. Here's the latest right now. So no tornado warnings right now. Doesn't mean we can't get another tornado warning issued, but nothing right now. So we have a severe thunderstorm watch in the blue, Oklahoma City, east-northeast, going through 8 a.m., and we have severe thunderstorm warnings all along the front edge of this big storm complex. That's not unusual at all. That's where you get the strong, damaging straight-line winds, heavy rain, little hail, and occasionally we get these little tornado spin-ups along that leading edge, those leading edge spin-ups, especially late night, early morning. You know it, I know it. How many times has Emily Sutton and myself been here, during the early morning hours the last couple of years, 2 or 3 years really, talking about these tornadoes that spin up very early in the morning hours because of the low-level jet coming out of the south and the thunderstorm complexes coming in, and it all interacts. So you get these little spin-ups late night, early morning hours along the leading edge, and they're well documented, and that's what happened this morning. All right, we have flash flood warnings up in northeastern Oklahoma. We have flood advisories in northern Oklahoma. We have a flood advisory for Oklahoma County and surrounding the Oklahoma City metro area as well. We've had a ton of rain lately. Historic rainfall in the month of April, heavy rain in May, and here we are in June in this west-northwesterly flow pattern, which is a classic for severe weather this time of year, and we're getting more big storm complexes and heavy rain. And there's another one probably coming late tonight, tomorrow morning, with more flooding issues on Saturday morning, unfortunately. So, again, we talked about this the last couple of days, right? Big storm complex, there it is, going up, coming right down into central northeastern Oklahoma this morning. We also have some storms in southwestern Oklahoma, not forgetting about southwestern Oklahoma. They're not big time severe or anything like that, so we're paying more attention to Oklahoma City at this point with the tornado warnings, obviously. But we know it's storming down in Jackson County as well, and you're getting a lot of rain out there. But it's right along the leading edge of the big storm complex where we've had our warnings. And you can see right now, we got severe thunderstorm warnings along the leading edge here, really from Purcell all the way up to Tulsa, the southeast side of Tulsa, Okmulgee County, all the way down to like southern McLean County into Grady County. We have severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing, little spin-ups along the leading edge. We could still get a couple of those develop as we go through the morning hours. Wouldn't be surprised if we get another tornado warning, but right now we're checking out the one down in the south. All right, it's a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado tag. So basically they're saying, hey, we have this severe thunderstorm warning continuing. It still could spin up another little circulation. It's not doing it right now, so we canceled the tornado warning, but we could get another one. So they put these little different colors on the severe thunderstorm warnings to show you that they put a little tag on there saying there could be another tornado, but right now we don't see it. There's the circulation. See that? First of all, it's moving so quickly. Moving east-southeast like 50 miles per hour, but you can see the circulation right there. That was the one that issued around Newcastle over towards Goldsby. It was very short-lived there, moving rapidly off to the east-southeast. It's kind of been blown out right now as the leading edge is way down here by Slaughterville right now, blowing out of those thunderstorms. So we're still getting 60-mile-per-hour straight-line winds along the leading edge. We just don't have any tornado warnings. And the other one, which was up over Guthrie, they had a 77-mile-per-hour wind measured at the mesonet site in Guthrie. That came over Guthrie and is moving off to the east-southeast. And again, the outflow has taken over this thing right now. So what's left of the tornado warning is now heading into southern sections of Creek County, northwestern sections of Fusky County. You can see it right here. There's actually a little circulation right here and another little circulation northeast of Prague right here. This is what's left over of that tornadic circulation as it came through Sparks. So again, not strong enough for a tornado warning, but it's a severe thunderstorm warning with 60, 70 mile per hour winds and a tornado tag on there in case it does redevelop. Not much hail with these storms, just heavy rain, strong winds on the very leading edge of this thunderstorm complex. So I think we'll have severe thunderstorm warnings for several more hours on the front edge of this thing as it continues to push away from Oklahoma City. In terms of hail, we have one little hail core that's developed here east of Norman in Cleveland County, but that's not too big. It's less than quarter size if you look at the scale here. So we're talking about maybe dime size hail, nickel and dimes here, less than quarter size hail with these storms. That hasn't been the big deal. It's been the wind, the little circulations along the front edge, and the very heavy rainfall, which continues to come down across the area. And look at this. We have a slight risk of severe weather for the rest of today, tonight, into early tomorrow morning. So what's going to happen? This is what we think is going to happen. This thunderstorm complex will continue to push off to the east-southeast, gradually weaken and fall apart, okay? It'll clear out a little bit this afternoon. The atmosphere will start to recover. We warm up potentially back into the 80s. It's warm and muggy. Another impulse with that southwesterly flow jet stream comes out of the mountains, out of the Rockies. More thunderstorms could form later this afternoon, really this evening, in far western, southwestern Oklahoma and the panhandles out here of Texas, and move in during the evening, probably 10, 11 o'clock or so late in southwestern Oklahoma. Those could go severe with all modes of severe weather possible. Those could make a run for the metro area like 2 in the morning or something like that. But then there's another big complex that forms in Kansas and comes down into central Oklahoma as we go through later tonight and on into Saturday. So we're not done with this stormy weather pattern at this point. So Tim, you have something to add right now?
Tornado warning coming for Slaughterville. That cell that
we were just talking about it.
They expired that. So if you pull up links too, I'll zoom in on that for you guys.
Come on out, Tim.
Yeah, you guys have. or Lynx 1, excuse me. Thank you. So there we go. So head down towards Slaughterville. It hasn't popped up yet, but the tornado warning is coming for this. So we'll zoom in on it as it gets down in there. All right. So there's that region right there, Slaughterville. So we were talking about earlier, those little hooks. John pointed them out right there. So we'll look to the velocities. If I can get it to switch over for you guys.
Yeah, it's just pulsing back up again.
Yeah,
so they're going to reissue that tornado warning downstream. So yeah, towards the Slaughterville area.
Yeah, Slaughterville area. Pull up storm relative velocity on it. Yeah, pulsing up just a little bit again, just south of Slaughterville, Lexington. There you go, moving down to the southeast. There it is, just came back in. So Slaughterville, Lexington now under a tornado warning. Buyers, if you're in buyers, you guys want to be cautious now. Make sure you're getting your stuff. Make sure you're getting ready to head to your safe space. Again, most interior room. This is radar indicated, no actual tornado on the ground as we know of right now. We'll pull up the shear right now, see if you can see on that. There's that area right there. So that kind of helps you see where that circulation is a little bit more detailed down in the Slaughterville region. I'll pull this over for you. So directly in between Slaughterville and Lexington, just to the east of 35 there is where we're seeing that latest tornado warning that just got issued. And again, that's moving off to the southeast. John, is that moving at 50? Still moving at 50?
It's continuing to move really rapidly off to the east-southeast.
Yeah, the entire line segment is moving at 50 miles per hour. So these storms are hustling across the state. They are booking it. Let's pull up radar while he figures out how much that one is moving, how fast that one's moving. You can see that again right there, right on that little hook right there. Really pronounced now in that latest one. You can clearly see that fish hook right there. Pull up the velocity and see if that latest radar scan shows anything new. So not as detailed there. As I was saying earlier, and Mike pointed out on Tuesday when we had some of those tornadoes moving through the metro, you know, oftentimes you go to velocity so you can see these things a little bit clearer. You can see that area of rotation, which you can't see it right here. Again, green towards the radar, red away, and where they meet is where that circulation is. So that's where it's easier to see sometimes. But sometimes the radar in general also gives you a good idea of where that circulation is. So south of Slaughterville, Lexington, so Willow View, Spring Hill, Corbett, those regions moving down to the southeast right now. So keep that in mind. Make sure you're heading to your safe space. We'll zoom back out so you can see this entire system. That is, again, radar indicated. The main line has cleared the main metro area, so from Moore up through OKC, Village, Edmond, you're just looking at some rain right now, lingering showers, maybe a couple rumbles of thunder as you head out towards Yukon and El Reno, but the severe threat has passed those regions. Prague, still looking at some pretty heavy rain out there. Shawnee, the main area, is moving into you right now, so probably seeing some really gusty winds. We're seeing 40, 50, 60 mile per hour, even up to 77 miles per hour earlier when we had a strong storm move through the Guthrie area. Tecumseh, that line is arriving to you right now as well. And again, there's that tornado warning that we have right now, just issued on the southeast side of Slaughterville, moving into the Lexington area. So anything new on the National Weather Service chat there?
Well, not on the chat, but just I've been looking at the overall situation, and I'll tell you what, if we can go back over to Max 2 here, you know, these are really, really small. The more I look at them, I mean, this thing is tiny down there, east and southeast of Slaughterville. I mean, the circulation, it's like a pixel or two. So very tiny circulation there, but nonetheless, circulation. There's the brand new tornado warning showing up on the weather map. Again, the flood warnings to the northeast, flood advisory here in central Oklahoma. That's an issue at night when you're traveling. That actually impacts more people. When you have a flood warning and flood advisory at night, all the rain we've had, that can be a dangerous situation. So we can't really downplay that situation. There is a flash flood advisory for the metro area right now. Also thunderstorms down in southwestern Oklahoma. So zooming into central Oklahoma, again, there's the front edge of this big complex of storms. That's where the trouble is. That's where the danger is. Little spin-ups along the leading edge. Once that goes by where you live, you're over as far as any severe weather. You're done with. That pushes off to our southeast, and you have some rain and some wind and some lightning for a little bit, and then it ends. So it's going to happen really, really quickly. Let's zoom on in. Down here on the south side, this brand new tornado warning, all right? Look at that. Look how small. There's a little hook, but it's like really small. As we go in and look at the Doppler velocities, this is it right here. So there's Slaughterville, there's Purcell, there's the little circulation right there. You can see a little kink in the very leading edge of this storm complex, right? If it was a straight line, you just see it straight, but see how it bows out right there? Very small area, it's like a mile, okay? So that's the circulation, which is actually east of Purcell, and it's moving east-southeast rapidly at about 50 miles per hour. So that's your tornado warning. If that's headed to your home, okay, take it seriously. Lowest level, center part of a small interior room, all right? Put as many walls as you can between the outside and yourself. Stay away from windows. And that's all because of flying debris is the thing that gets you with a tornado. A tornado, you know, it picks up stuff, breaks stuff, tree limbs, other structures, part of a barn, and it's all flying in the air, and that's what can be really dangerous. So we tell you to stay inside, protect yourself from that flying debris, stay away from windows. Lowest level, center part of a small interior room, a good place to go. If you don't have a storm shelter, would be like the closet underneath your stairwell. You know what your tornado safe spot is. So if you're in this polygon here, southeast of Slaughterville, to the east of Purcell, you are under a tornado warning. You saw a little circulation there. And the one earlier right here came out of Lincoln County. There's still a little circulation. They're not warning on this one right now, but if you look at the last couple frames right around Boley, there's a little circulation there too. So again, right along the leading edge, you get these leading edge spin-ups. They happen very commonly late night, early morning hours with these big complexes right along the leading edge. I can't tell you how many times we've watched this, but here's this one coming down. Again, there's a little bit of circulation here. It's not tight enough for a tornado warning, but you can kind of see the circulation right in like that, okay? So we're watching all these little spin-up areas right now. The only tornado warning ongoing is that one to the southeast of Slaughterville, all right? And that's moving down through southern sections of Cleveland County right now. So we're watching that closely. But again, along the leading edge, that's the problem. Once that leading edge goes by where you live, you're pretty much over with the danger in terms of any tornadoes or damaging winds. But of course, the flooding threat does linger behind that a little bit. Tim, do you have something right now?
No, they were just saying that Aaron is in Shawnee, and he's along, so that would be right along that front leading edge there. So I was going to see if we can pull.
Sure.
We talk to Aaron and
let's see if Aaron's out there. Aaron Sanders, one of our storm trackers, who's been out during the early morning hours following the front edge of this complex as it's pushed through the South Metro. It's dark out there, it's hard to see. Blinding rain, strong winds, not much hail with this, Aaron. But again, it's along the leading edge of the storm that we get these little spin-ups. Lots of lightning out there right now. Give me a quick update.
Yeah, John, we're eastbound on 40, probably about 15 miles to the west of Shawnee. It is torrential rain. I could probably see about maybe 50 yards in front of the truck at the moment. I haven't come across too much hail right now. I've seen like a couple dings here and there, but nothing really substantial. I mean, there's a little bit of hail intermixed, but not a lot to really worry about. I'm on I-40 at the moment. The roads are definitely ponding to an extent where you need to slow down. I've had a lot of people come blowing by me. They're taking it way too fast. You got to take it easy on these kind of roads. But we're out here tracking it, and back to you.
All right, great report. Yeah, if you don't have to travel in this big complex, please don't. Allow yourself some extra time if you do have to be out there, and you want to stay away from the front edge, okay? And we do have flood advisories in effect for the metro area officially. We've had too much rain. There's a lot of water on the roads out there, ponding of water. It's dark. It's at night. You can't see exactly what you're going and driving into, and never drive across roads that have water covering them, and especially if it's moving water, and especially at night. And all those situations apply right now. So it's a dangerous situation. We have our storm trackers out there. They're kind of familiar with doing that, but it's even a problem for them, and hydroplaning is a big issue. So as far as the hail goes, with that one storm southeast of Norman with the tornado warning, we do have the biggest hail, but still, as you look at the scale here, it's not that big. It's less than quarter size, all right? Less than quarter size hail. It's probably more like dime and nickel size hail with that cell. So it's not really about the hail. It's about the heavy rain and the little spin in the atmosphere along the front edge, which is giving us the tornado situations from time to time. We had a couple up in the Tulsa area. Those have expired. And the only one right now is down here to the south and east of Slaughterville, but it's moving rapidly off to the east-southeast down through southern Cleveland County. It's projected to go into far eastern McLean County and to far northeastern Garvin County. If you live in that area, that's that little circulation which is rapidly moving along the leading edge of that storm. We call them leading edge tornadoes, right? And they happen a lot late night, early morning hours. Emily and I have been here so many times over the last several years. at this time of the morning with these little tornadoes along the leading edge. And they're dangerous. I'm not playing them down. They can be dangerous. They're quick little spin-ups. They can be dangerous for sure, no doubt about it. It's a tornado. But we still have a slight risk of severe weather as we go through the day today and tonight and tomorrow. We're not done with this stormy weather pattern yet. The storms this morning will kind of dissipate and move away. The atmosphere reloads. Another disturbance with the jet stream coming in from the west-southwest. More storms could fire up the Texas Panhandle into western and southwestern Oklahoma, especially later this afternoon, more like this evening, and then move towards central Oklahoma tonight. And then another big complex is predicted to develop to our northwest and come in early Saturday morning. More heavy rain on top of what's happening right now. So flooding is a major, major concern, all right, in this kind of weather pattern this time of year. And occasionally we'll get some severe weather as well. So this is our time lapse of the leading edge of that storm coming through the area earlier. This is out around Midwest City, and I'll tell you what, it moves very rapidly. You might not even see it when it comes through. I'll see if I can point it out. Actually, it's hardly moving right now at all. Maybe I'll have to go back to it. It might be locked up. Let's see. And I think it's locked up. But it moved through so quickly. It's like, whew, you just saw it move on through. So it's moving very rapidly. That's what's going on right now. Severe thunderstorm watch continues through 8 a.m. here in Oklahoma City. You can see the warnings along the leading edge off to our east and southeast. Only one tornado warning ongoing right now. That's in southern Cleveland County, down into far eastern tip there in McLean County. Flood warnings up in northeastern Oklahoma. Lots of flood advisories, northern Oklahoma. And again, in the metro area, we have a flood advisory. There's the complex coming in overnight. We have storms in southwestern Oklahoma that are non-severe. We know they're there. And here's a look at this one more time. I'll send it back to Tim here in a second. Looks like he might have something to say, but let's zoom on in here real quickly, give you an update where that circulation is, okay? Leading edge. So here's the storm complex. Look real closely. See that? Boom, right there. Right there. That little hook, that is really, really small. It's still a circulation area. There it is right there on Doppler velocity. See it right there? And the thing is with these, the straight line wind is just as big as the tornado threat because they're almost the same. So you can see the wind here. That's probably 70 miles per hour. We had an 80 mile an hour wind gust in Guthrie. Actually, it was about a 77 in Guthrie, about 80. And that looked a little bit more significant. This one's not quite as strong, but where you get the red to the white there, that's winds to about 70 miles per hour. That's that tornado warning going through far southern Cleveland County. It's going to move through the eastern tip of McLean County and in northeastern Garvin County. That's a tornado warning. The other one in the northeast does not have a tornado warning with it, but still a circulation heading towards Okemah. All right, we got Mark Dillard out this morning. He's traveling around, keeping an eye on things. Mark, I know you've been around with these situations, these leading edge tornadoes and the flash flooding for a long, long time. So I can see right now you're one of the flood prone areas. So what's going on right now?
Yeah, John, this is Reno and Portland here on the west side of Oklahoma City over by OSU, OKC, and the furniture stores. This is an area that generally collects water, and as folks start to get out and about for their day, they are going to encounter some at least curb-high flooding. The water's starting to recede a little bit. We're just now we had a break in the rain from the leading edge. Now we're getting a little more rain coming back in, but yeah, high winds earlier along the leading edge. So if you're south and east of Oklahoma City as this progresses, and you talked about those small notches and QLCS type tornadoes, kind of a wake up situation for a lot of folks. Tornado warnings started going off and everything. So just keep in mind throughout the day, areas that encountered a lot of rain, we're going to have some runoff flooding. So remind, kids, summertime, stay out of the high water for sure. But in the metro area, areas that generally flood, poor drainage, they're going to be collecting water throughout, as long as the rain's still coming down. And, the creeks and streams are probably, pretty high as well because we've had so much rain here lately. And then, just keep in mind going into the weekend, we've got another round or two coming as well. So we'll continue to track this. But right now, Reno and Portland with some curb-high flooding as far as traffic goes. Back to you.
All right, Mark. Great advice. Yeah, look at those cars driving through water on the roads. That's always a dangerous situation at night. So please use caution if you're traveling out there. I want to go back to radar because I've zoomed in on this little tornado warning here, just to show you what's going on. Do you see that thing? It looks like a coat hanger, right? Look at that right there. That's the tornado warning. That's the circulation. It just crossed over Highway 39 east of Purcell, right? Going towards Rosedale, Byers, Wanette right there. So that's the little circulation. That is a half a block or two of a circulation. Nonetheless, it's a circulation. But that's the tornado warning right now. So if you are in the path of this little curly Q that I'm showing you on radar, that's your tornado warning. Take those tornado precautions. So again, it's already south of Highway 39. It's moving rapidly southeast at about 50 miles per hour right now. So it's going to come rapidly towards Rosedale and Wanette, maybe to the west of Wanette, eventually towards Byers if it holds together. More than likely it'll probably just fall apart and then reorganize again. That's what these things do. They kind of spin up, then kind of spin down and then spin up again. That's one little tornado warning there. But if you look along the leading edge, you see similar little structures along the whole thing, but they only warn on the ones that they think is going to produce a small tornado. So that's the latest tornado warning. We'll zoom in. It's going out of my screen right now, but that's how it looks on the Doppler radar. The same thing we were looking at, right, on the reflectivity. We're now looking at the Doppler radar, and that's it right there. Okay? So that's your tornado warning. If you're in the path of that tornado warning, you know where you are, where you live on the map. You need to be taking your tornado precautions at this point. If you know someone who lives here, it's at night, maybe they're sleeping, give them a heads up. Hey, this little curly Q tornado is heading right to your house, and give them warning so they can take cover. It's going to happen real quick. I mean, moving at 50 miles per hour, the windows will rattle, and it's over. So anyway, I've seen these things a lot. I've been around a long time, and I've seen these little things. And when I was going to school at OU in the 1980s, did a lot of storm chasing with the professors. These would happen. They didn't call them tornadoes back in the 1980s. They were just gustnados is what we called them. Remember the term gustnados? I don't know if anyone remembers that. But we called them gustnados, and they were not logged as tornadoes. But then they started getting more higher radar, signatures and more better technology, and they decided that, yeah, those are tornadoes. So, and that's one of the reasons why the tornado counts are higher now than they were 30 years ago, because the technology is better to see the tornado, so now we recognize them when we call it a tornado, where 30 years ago we didn't call them a tornado. So there's a lot of reasons why the tornado numbers are going up, plus there's a lot more storm trackers out there than there were 30 years ago. So I think that's why a lot of the numbers are going up. It's not necessarily due to the weather, but changing technology and changing times. But there is the little spin up right there, far southeastern Cleveland County going to eastern McLean County. Here's the one to the northeast up here, Boley area, Okemah. Heads up, Okemah, you don't have a tornado warning right now, but it's a storm with a circulation, one of these little circulations. It did have a tornado warning earlier. This is the same storm that came through the Guthrie area with a 77 mile per hour wind, came through Lincoln County around Chandler. Now it's all the way down here, moving right over Okemah right now. So you've got a severe thunderstorm warning in Okemah, but it's tagged with a tornado tag. So you notice if the severe thunderstorm warning isn't yellow, it's not red, but it's orange. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but that means that it's a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado tab, because the Weather Service thinks there's a possibility it could be upgraded to a tornado warning because there is a little circulation with it. So that's what's going on there. Normally it would be yellow. You know that as a severe thunderstorm warning, but they now have different colors on the polygons if there's going to be a threat more than just a severe thunderstorm warning like a tornado, but they don't want to go full throttle with the tornado warning yet. So they're giving you a heads up with this orange polygon that you see how it is looking to rotate a little bit as it comes towards the Okemah area right now. So severe thunderstorm warning down in Okemah. Here's the Doppler velocities. They don't look very impressive, but again, that's the little spin coming through right now. It's going towards Wetumpka. So folks in here, eastern Oklahoma, this is really getting out of our area, by the way, off to the east. So we're going to let that one go, but the one that's in our area right now is down here to the southeast. That's the only tornado warning, which is now moving into the eastern tip of McLean County. I think it's going to clip far northeastern sections of Garvin County as well, and it's still, that little curly Q, it still looks like it's pretty significant. And there's a little hail here, not much. This is a dime nickel size hail with this storm. So again, it's along the leading edge of these storm complexes. That's the danger zone. That's their area of concern, right along the leading edge. Once that leading edge passes your location, I might not mention you now, I might not mention the town you live in, and we can't mention every single town, but as soon as that wind shift and the big part of the storm passes your location, the severe weather threat is over pretty rapidly because it's right along the leading edge that you have to be concerned about. But they're moving so fast and they spin up so fast. And more severe weather is possible later on today and tonight and tomorrow morning. We have a brand new slight risk that goes all the way into tomorrow morning. So more severe storms could redevelop later today and tonight. The storms this morning kind of dissipate. More storms develop later on this afternoon and this evening. Could be severe. All modes of severe weather possible, right? And then another big storm complex could come out of Kansas into Oklahoma late tonight, tomorrow morning with more severe weather, and heavy rainfall and flooding is becoming more of the concern as we keep adding on the rainfall totals, and the rainfall totals keep going up. There's so much moisture we can hold in the soil. So by tomorrow morning, if we get another big complex, the flooding issues could even be higher than they are now, all right? And then on Saturday afternoon, one last chance of storms develops and it pushes away, and then we dry out here on Sunday. So Tim might have something to say right now. I think you might, I'm not sure. But anyway, the storm complex is moving out of Oklahoma City, so things are calming down right now. We're still watching that little circulation area along the front edge. Tim, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to take a look at the entire system. We can pull a links one up and I'll jump out there and we'll take a look here at system. So the whole line again producing even more lightning now. That is insane. You can see 2,500, almost 2,600 lightning strikes in the last several minutes. So extremely big lightning maker, prolific lightning maker out here. Again, you see the showers back building across the metro as well. You can still see some of those showers out there. But zooming in here, let's take a closer look. We'll zoom way in for you. Pull this back for you. And then again, Byers is where that main system. So there's that circulation just to the south of Box, to the southeast of Corbett, Rosedale just to the north of that. So there is that main area right there. So let's jump over to velocity, and you can see, ooh, new scan just came in. So moving right there just to the northeast of Rosedale. So jumping over to velocity, we'll pull up velocity scans for you if it wants to cooperate with me. Looks like it doesn't want to cooperate with me. There we go. So there's that little circulation right there for you. Again, the greens are going to be towards the radar, red away, and that's how we see the circulation. This might be easier to see if we pull up on the actual shear. And there it is right there. That's a little bit easier for all of you at home to see. A little bit more pronounced here. So in between Box and Rosedale, this is moving down to the southeast. So out ahead of it, you can see Byers, and then Johnsonville, those areas right there, you should also be in your safe spot. Again, radar indicated rotation here, potential tornado. If we have that radar indicated rotation, tornado could touch down really at any time. So you'll want to make sure that you're in your safe spot as this continues to move off to the southeast. And these are moving at a pretty rapid clip as well. This whole system as a whole has been moving at about 50 miles per hour. So very, very gusty winds, torrential rainfall. A lot of areas have been seeing upwards of 1 to 3 inches of rain, which is causing that flooding issue that Mark Dillard was talking about more recently. A lot of ponding on streets out there. But again, there's that main area. So looks like it has passed just to the east of Rosedale and to the south of Box. So those locations should be in the good. Corbett, you're in the good. That has passed you already. This is continuing to move off to the southeast. So Johnsonville and Byers are the main two areas right now that if you're in those regions, you want to make sure you're in your safe spot, because that area of rotation right here is heading right down into your region. So make sure you're getting in your safe spot there. We'll zoom back out and you can try to get rid of this box for you so that's not in the way. There we go. All right, so there's that area of rotation. No other, let's see if there's any other areas on the line that really stand out for us here. Now you can see a couple of areas spinning out, especially down towards the south. But if we pull up the radar here, we just have that big line of showers and storms. So Pauls Valley dry right now, but that main area of rain is going to be moving into you. And again, back towards the metro area, we've cleared out already. So just some back building showers and storms in there, maybe some lightning, some thunder. But the severe threat, if you're in the metro area, from Norman, west, north, you're good. No severe threat there now. It's just some potentially heavy downpours, lightning and thunder out there. Severe threat is going to remain off to the east for anybody now. So if you're out here towards Seminole, Wewoka, out towards Holdenville, Ada, that's where the severe threat is going to be pushing into your region. And that's where we do have this one tornado warning. Again, moving off to the southeast. Lots of lightning as well with this. So we're looking at over 2,000, almost 3,000 lightning strikes. So very prolific lightning maker. Now I'm trying to zoom out real quick and you can see this entire system as a whole. Let's try to throw it into the last 30 minutes here. And you can see it pushing right along. There's that tornado warning. There's that little hook that we've been watching as it moves to the southeast. It continues to move to the southeast. And you're seeing those back building showers across the region right now. So back building out between Hinton and Yukon and moving into the metro area. Again, non-severe. So if you're in the metro area, you're all clear. Just some showers moving into the region. The main line, though, continuing to move pretty quickly. Again, moving at about 50 miles per hour. Off to the east here. So we had that other tornado warning that has since expired. So right now you can see this entire system moving almost completely out of the metro now. We just have this last little tail end that's kind of hanging in the southern portion of the metro. So we'll zoom in here once I can get it up for you. There we go. And we'll see that little clip right there. That little, a lot of people call it a fishtail. Heard a hanger a minute ago from John. You can see a fish hook there. That's continuing to move off to the south there. So Spring Hill moved through Corbett between Box and Rosedale, and now continuing to move off to the southeast. So let's freeze that. There you go. And you can see that area right there. So pulling back up the shear for you, TLX. And there's that little area we were talking about. So again, Johnsonville, Byers, if you're in that region, you want to make sure you are in your safe spot at this time. Continuing to move that down to the southeast. Make sure you're in your safe spot. Let's see some hail out of here. Do we have 1 hour hail? There we go. Uh-oh. Looks like we lost our position. We'll pull back up. There we go. Now we pull up our hail. Because there's also not been too much hail with this. John was saying this earlier. The hail hasn't been too large out there. We've had lots of reports of hail, but it's been smaller in size, probably looking at penny to pea-size hail with most of this. And then we'll pull that shear back up for those of you inside this tornado warning as it continues to move. Again, Byers, you want to make sure you are in your safe spot at this time as that rotation is right there. Pull up the radar, and again, there it is right there. So there's that little hook. Sometimes easier to see on the radar, like John was talking about, interacting with the outflow boundary. Out ahead of these lines, we get those little spin ups. So zooming in, Winnett, you're looking pretty good. You're on the outside of this, but you are on the leading edge of the storm. So you're going to have some severe weather moving in here momentarily. And then as we head back towards, there we go, head back towards Paoli, down towards White Bead, Pauls Valley, again, this whole system moving towards you. And there's another little area right here. Looks like it might be trying to get some weak circulation going in there, so we'll have to keep watching that as well. But again, that main area with the tornado warning is right here, off to the northwest of Johnsonville and Byers. You can see it better a lot right here. Very, very clear circulation right here. Moving into Johnsonville. So if you're in Johnsonville or Byers, you'll want to make sure that you're getting in your safe spot right now. Again, radar indicated. Let's see if we have anything. We don't have anything on the debris signature, so that's the good news there, because a debris signature would indicate a tornado on the ground. So it's good that we don't see that. There's that main area again, rotation, pulling up now radar, and there's that little hook for you. This has actually been holding pretty steady. When you look back at the last 15 minutes or so, you can see it starting back towards Spring Hill, moving down south of Box, north of Rosedale, and holding steady. It's a weak circulation, as John's been saying this time, continuing to move off though. But Johnsonville, Byers, again, make sure you are in your safe spot at this time. And we'll pull that back up. We'll do a big picture here. Again, prolific lightning maker from this entire system. We're looking at lightning strikes across the area right now. In that little general area, looking upwards of 1,300 lightning strikes. Do you know where our trackers are right now? Where Aaron is at the moment? He's in Shawnee. We'll run out to him real quick and see what the conditions are like in Shawnee as that main line has moved through. So he should be maybe seeing some. Is there any ponding out there? Aaron, can you hear us?
Yeah, Tim. Yeah, I'm heading southbound on Highway 270, coming up to Tecumseh at the moment. There is definitely some ponding on the roads where I'm at. I haven't really come across much hail, and it is still just a steady torrential downpour where I'm at. I could probably see maybe about 100 yards in front of me right now. So, yeah, right now we're making our way south, just kind of trying to catch back up to this tornado warning. We're out here tracking it. Back to you.
All right, thank you. Toss things back over to John. What do you got, John?
All right, I've been kind of looking behind the scenes, coordinating with the National Weather Service and trying to get my 7-day forecast made, and I got it made. So that's coming up. So, all right, we got severe weather to deal with. Tornado warning continues down here in far southern Cleveland, really into eastern McLean County right now, northeastern Garvin, till 6 a.m. They're going to let it probably expire at 6 a.m. The circulation is broadened out a little bit. Not 100% sure. They could continue it, but that's the latest. It's a little broader, and they're thinking it's not as tight, and they might let that expire at 6 a.m. So we're going to be doing this wall-to-wall coverage at least through 6 a.m., okay? That's the only tornado warning we have in our area. Another little sliver of a tornado warning out here in eastern Oklahoma. Severe thunderstorm watches in the metro through 8 a.m., but really once the leading edge moves through your neighborhood, the very severe weather is over. Now, flooding, that's a different thing, because flooding is ongoing for a little while behind the storm. So we have flash flood warnings, a large part of far northeastern Oklahoma. Lots of flood advisories. Okay, these little green polygons are flood advisories, including the Oklahoma City metro area. Mark Dillard has been live showing you areas where, you know, the water is, well, it's over the roads and people are driving through it. You got to be very, very careful in that situation, all right? Especially at night. Big complex moving through. Again, the problem is along the leading edge. We know that. That's pushing down to the southeast right now. We got thunderstorms in southwestern Oklahoma, also some more storms out there in the Texas Panhandle. These are non-severe, but we're going to watch them very closely for you. We'll zoom on in here. Again, our tornado warning down here to the south. The leading edge of the storm complex is pushing pretty quickly off to the south and east. We're getting some redevelopment of showers and storms in and around Oklahoma City, but they're just moderate showers and thunderstorms, and they might be a little nuisance out there, kind of adding to the wet roads already and the localized flooding. So that's not good, but they're not excessively heavy, so they're not really creating more flooding problems. Again, it's right along the leading edge. That's the issue. Let's zoom in one more time here. There we go. Look at that curlicue. It's still there. I don't know if they're going to let this expire at 6 a.m. because that's still a circulation. See it right there just north of Byers. So that's eastern McLean County coming out of Cleveland. It actually clipped far southwestern Seminole County there. And it's right there just north of Byers. You can see it, that little circulation right there, moving rapidly southeast. It's going to clip far northeastern. This is Garvin County. That's Pauls Valley. And it's going to clip Garvin County and probably move into Pontotoc County. All right, there's Ada, right? Bing. So that's it. But notice, there's other circulations. You know, they're not as tight as this little thing here, but there's other circulations, little eddies along the leading edge that localize the higher wind speeds. Even if there's not a tornado warning, you get higher wind gusts and things like that. So here's a Doppler showing that, again, it's continuing to hold its own. So we're hoping that they let this expire in about 6 minutes at 6 a.m. I'm not sure if they're going to do that or not. National Weather Service is watching that. If they continue with their tornado warning, we'll probably just continue on for a little bit while because this is still in our viewing area, okay? And I want to warn these people. So Byers right now, eastern McLean County, into northeastern Garvin County is the tornado warning right now. If you're in the path of this little circulation, the best thing to do is just find your tornado safe spot. You know where that is. You have the drills at home probably all the time. So find that tornado safe spot. If you have a shelter, a tornado shelter, underground, above ground, that's the best place to be. If you don't, you probably have a safe spot in your home somewhere where it's maybe a closet underneath a stairwell, lowest level, center part of a small interior room. Put a lot of walls between you and the outside. Stay away from windows. And we say that because even this little circulation could cause debris to be lofted. You get debris in the air, and that's flying around. That could hit your house. That could go through your window. Sometimes you see you'll see pieces of a tree actually penetrate through the walls of a house in situations like this. So that's why you need to protect yourself from that flying debris, even if you're inside, okay? So there it goes, down towards Byers, into northeastern Garvin County. The other circulation is still there. There's no tornado warning with it, but we still have this orange severe thunderstorm warning polygon, which means there is a circulation here, and they tag the warning as a tornado warning, even though it's a severe thunderstorm warning. So that is now east of Okemah. That's down towards Waletka, okay, and Dustin. And, Lake Eufaula is not too far away here. Know this area really well. So there it goes. Off to the east-southeast very rapidly, about 50 miles per hour, just a severe storm warning. We'll look at the Doppler velocities. There still is a little bit of a leftover signature. You see that right there? These colors here, you go from the dark red to the brighter red, pink, that's higher velocity winds. So we got some good 60, 70 mile per hour winds along the leading edge. We have severe thunderstorm warnings, and there's a little circulation. But I do want to point out, in this particular area, the radar beam is not looking down at the surface because, the Earth curves, right? So when we send a radar beam up, as it goes away from the radar, the farther it's away from the radar, the higher it's looking in the atmosphere because the Earth curves, the radar doesn't curve, right? So it's going like that. So you're looking not at the surface here. So when you see these higher velocities, they're probably about 8,000 feet above the surface. But with the very heavy rain, they can mix down to the surface. So could be some 60, 70 mile per hour winds, and there still is a little bit of a circulation just over Wetumpka to the northeast. Not a tornado-warned storm, but I want to let you know that has a circulation. And again, it's along the leading edge, strong winds, heavy rain, a lot of lightning, not much hail with these storms, pushing down to the south, and that one tornado warning there in eastern sections of McLean County. Hopefully that goes away at 6 a.m. We have 3 more minutes and we'll find out. And I did that 7-day too. So this is all moving away. More storms to the southwest. I think these stay to our south, but more storms could develop later on this afternoon, this evening to the west-southwest. We have enhanced risk of severe weather out in the Panhandle. This is where those storms form. And then they come into southwestern Oklahoma this evening. And then if they hold together, could be here around midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning. More storms, potentially severe weather, okay? Look down here. The headlines are still all modes of severe weather. And then another big complex comes in late tonight, tomorrow morning with more severe weather. Although now that the atmosphere is being worked over, it might not be that severe as opposed to just heavy rainers, which is bad enough because we have so much water, we can't take any more rain. So I'm anticipating less severe weather tomorrow morning and more of a widespread flooding issue tomorrow morning as those storms come in early on Saturday morning. Then there's another chance Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening from I-40 south of severe weather, and then we dry out on Monday. And look at this. I've been trying to put this together while Tim has really been helping me out. I really appreciate it. He's one of our new meteorologists here, and he was helping me out because I was trying to desperately get the forecast done. I had to look at the data while everything was going on. So it's hard to do that when there's tornado warnings going on. But anyway, 90% chance of storms this morning. Some redevelop later today, 84. More storms tonight, tomorrow morning, 65. Less than 2 minutes to go with maybe throwing it back to the news desk. We'll see. And then, yes, more storms Saturday, 83. And then we dry out Sunday, but I left a 20% on Sunday because I'm not 100% sure. But 89, a little drier. Then we dry out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in the 80s. And then on Thursday, another chance of storms. I did not get the +4. Sorry. I'll try and work on that. I have another hour to get the +4 out. But there's your 7-day forecast. Unfortunately, more rain and some severe weather for the next few days, at least 2 or 3 days, and more flooding conditions and possible severe weather. And then we will dry out for a little while. So some good news there. That's not the right 7-day. I just wanted to show you right now that things are getting proved here behind the main leading edge here in central Oklahoma. The warnings are pushing off to the south and east right now. We still have one tornado warning in far eastern Okmulgee County over in eastern Oklahoma. There's actually another one. I was blocking it. So there's another tornado warning in far eastern Oklahoma. That's Okmulgee County there. That might be Adair County. Actually, Delaware County, I do believe. It's been a while since I've worked in northeastern Oklahoma. And then this one down here in eastern sections of McLean County into northeastern Garvin County. And we're under watch till 8 a.m. And something just happened here. Did they just discontinue those warnings, Tim?